Hello and welcome to the Kinesis Update Webinar 2021. I'm very excited to be joining you here today with our CEO, Thomas Coughlin, our Chief Operating Officer, Richard Melbourne, our Chief Strategy Officer, Eric Main, and myself, Jai Bafulko, the Chief Commercial Officer of Kinesis. And today we're going to be covering off, a whole range of stuff. We're going to be just recapping 2020 very, very quickly to give a bit of a summary for everyone, including our new viewers and new listeners. Where we've come from this year. 2020 was a very good year for Kinesis and development. A lot of product development going on. A lot of milestones were achieved. And 2021, we'll see a lot of that product development move into a more commercialization and partnership phase. And I think that's what we really want to get across today is that, the development of the product was so, fast and furious last year. Yes, we rejigged and reprioritized some of the roadmap towards Q4, but let's take forward 2021, commercialization and partnership, and that's really what it's about for us. We're at a stage now where we can move forward in such a great capacity as a company. Just look at the year, look at what we've achieved, and look at the volumes and the figures that are coming out. We'll share with you later on some graphs and some figures about what the volumes behind the scenes are looking like. But coinciding with every major release here in 2020, we've also had a marketing operation and a sales operation going on in the background. So coinciding with our release and our sales and our marketing programs and all the things we're doing in the back end has absolutely translated into more volume and more acquisition on the front end. And that's exciting to see. It's been a year of exponential growth. And hopefully this year, we see another year of exponential growth. So at this point, I'd like to hand over to our CEO, Thomas Coughlin.
Yeah, thanks a lot for that, Jai, and Happy New Year, everyone. Hopefully 2021 is going to be a lot better year for everyone around the world than 2020 was. But, looking back at 2020, I'm very proud of our achievements at Kinesis. We've done a lot along the way. Yeah, we've had our challenges. We've pushed through a lot of challenges. And what we got out of the other side is something that I think certainly the Kinesis team is very proud of. And I'm going to sort of run through it with you. But first, just for all of our new listeners out there, I want to rewind 3 years just to sort of show and provide a bit of perspective on where we've come from. So as you all know, well, as most of you know in our community, we've come from the ABX allocated bullion exchange heritage. ABX was founded in 2011, and we've been building out and developing the ABX global exchange since then. Effectively, we've been had journeys all around the world. We've been collaborating and liaising with all the major players in the precious metals industry all around the world. And when I say all the major players, I mean all the majors. So whether it be the top bankers, then even the central bankers, to the average sort of small, medium, or large physical precious metal dealers or brokers. With that being said, around 3 years ago, the executive committee and board of ABX made a strategic decision to basically embark on 3 primary projects. Those 3 primary projects were Kinesis Monetary System. They were the Indonesian project, which was, national gold exchange and alternative monetary system as well, which the push on the blockchain monetary system side out of Indonesia was, gave us really strong impetus to actually, pursue Kinesis in the first place. And also the Deutsche Börse partnership via their commodity clearing arm in Europe, European Commodity Clearing, ECC, which actually faces around 450 of the largest global financial institutions in the world. So with that, we get really strong, plumbing and piping into those financial institutions. Which is important because in the case of a clearinghouse like ECC, they've got a multi-billion-dollar balance sheet that already has pre-established trading lines, credit lines with these banks and trading houses around the world. So that's a really important partnership, and it's effectively the only real clearinghouse that will offer this around the world. It's a massive project in its own right. With that, and the reason why we made that strategic decision to embark on those 3 primary projects as a team was largely because at the time our IT team was completely overwhelmed with onboarding new partners in the precious metal space, which was small and medium-sized bullion brokers and dealers. And we were white labeling platforms, and it was just, but it was bogging us down and hindering our development work. So we decided to pause with the commercialization there and decided to, really head where we thought was most important, where our overall vision was. The Deutsche Börse side took us to that high level wholesale bullion exchange where, where we're sort of got our crosshairs targeting the London Bullion Market Association, that London bullion wholesale market. And we can talk further on that. I know Deutsche Börse has their crosshairs on that market with us. There's a lot that comes off the back of that, and Kinesis is going to really benefit from the tailwinds there. Obviously, Indonesia. Now, this is groundbreaking public-private partnership. In fact, there's some there's some parties in the likes of the United Nations who are calling it potentially the largest public-private partnership that the world's ever seen. It has that degree of magnitude and scale. Yeah, sure, we're not there yet, but we're getting there. We've started. In total, it's been a 5-year project to get to where we are. We've been slowed down a little bit with COVID and everything like that, but if you ask me, we're in the best possible position now going into 2021. And Kinesis monetary system, which, at the end of the day, we wrap those 3 projects together. Plus there's a few more projects that I'll get into that we benefit as a group entirely in. Looking back now at 2020, I just wanted to look at some of our numbers, some of our trading numbers throughout the year. Now, we finished up in December 2020 with trade volume figures of 365 million, a little bit over, between both KMS and the Mint. If we go back to January 2020, we actually started the year, as you know, quite slowly at just 5,600,000 for that month. And looking at the trade volume from 5,600,000 to 365 million, I mean, we're looking at quite phenomenal trade volume growth. The majority of the growth has come obviously in the last 6 months of the year, which has been when we've been pushing our big product releases. And it's quite interesting to see, actually, every time we do a big product release, it translates into volume. So in June, for example, we had around 23 million. It then, it then scaled up to 65 million, say in August. Then in September, what we saw was the release of the new exchange platform, Debit card and the likes. And then boom, we saw trade figures in October of 149 million. Then November, 216 million to that 365 that we saw in December. Looking at those trade volume figures, we're certainly the largest gold-backed currency on the blockchain out there. And, this system's just only in its very infancy of building out here. Obviously, we've got a lot of product development to do. We're still laying our core foundations at this point in time. But looking at that growth trajectory, we're really on our way to hitting that $1 billion per month milestone in the first half of 2021. That'll be our target there. And what's going to be a major contributor to that are our partnerships that we've been working on behind the scenes. that will be bringing in potentially hundreds of millions of dollars in trade volume per month, and millions of users with leaders in their respective fields, some of the oldest organizations in their respective fields as well, and some of the largest organizations in their respective fields. You're going to see that trade volume even escalate and accelerate further. And with that said, I'm excited to hand it back to Jai, who's going to deliver our high-level 2021 roadmap.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks for covering off that. All really, really exciting, and the numbers are just looking exceptional. So in Q1, and this will all be published on our website at the end of this webinar, so you'll be able to see everything there on the roadmap section, under the About section on the Kinesis.money website. And as the deliverables come, we'll obviously be giving everybody updates. So in the next few weeks, the US physical card program will be coming out of beta and into production. There was some COVID-19 related delays there with our third-party suppliers, and the beta program will be coming to an end basically now. So in the next few weeks, you'll see that US physical card program out in the wild, and it'll open up to everybody to start signing up to. We are doing the Kinesis Exchange upgrade. The upgrades that we're performing there have started, and we will be taking care of that for the tail end of February. So the tail end of February in the Q1, that'll mean that the exchange will come online with all of its new robustness. And within that, there'll be some other fixes that will be pushed through. There'll be a number of KYC optimizations and crypto deposit and withdrawal optimizations that will also come as part of that release, which will see a lot of the various little issues that we had within those areas be completely resolved. From there, we'll be launching the Kinesis Emerald Token, KEM, which we're really, really excited to give you an update on with Eric Main later on this webinar. And from there, we'll be announcing the partnerships within the physical precious metal space, the broker spaces, and within the banking spaces throughout Europe, which we've been working on. So one of the key items that we're focusing on for Q2 2021 is, of course, the EU and UK physical Kinesis Visa card banking program. This is the start of something that's going to be really, really amazing for Kinesis. Not only are we launching the Visa card program, but that will be the springboard or the foundations for our much larger and wider banking programs that will be phased out into Q3 and Q4, which we'll cover off as we move towards the milestones at the end of Q2. But with the EU program, we have 27 EEA member states that were able to deliver Visa cards throughout Europe. We have a number of partners, as mentioned, that we're already working with to actually get those banking programs up and running locally, so localized. And we obviously have the UK, which we're really, really excited to announce. Then what we have is we have the first yield come online. So in Q2, you will see the Minters yield deployed. And then subsequently, we'll start bringing on yield after yield after yield after yield once that happens. But as we launch the first yield, we'll give a more comprehensive update as in line with our quarterly updates as to when you can actually expect those to come online. Once we actually bring the Minters yield and the engine on, we're really, really excited to announce here today that we are working on a simplified Kinesis white label banking application. The development has already started within the actual white label application itself. And this is a very, very simplified version of the Kinesis app. It's not necessarily going to have the exchange components and so on and so forth. This is all about being able to get money in, send and receive money, having accounts and having Visa cards and having a whole banking functionality. We mentioned before about loyalty and rewards and various different rebates and sort of offerings to open that up and make it very, very attractive. But what you'll see is this is the first step that Kinesis will be taking in order to provide a white label banking application for our partner that will be delivering throughout the European region. Now, this white label banking application will become a foundational piece for us, which we can actually start to build out our banking operations and our banking components moving forward. But we'll update more as we go into Q3 and Q4. And then the last item that we're going to be covering off on Q2 will be the Kinesis website. Obviously, if you're an investor in gold or silver or a trader, or you want access to your gold and silver, the infrastructure that we have at Kinesis, given ABX and what we do in the precious metal space is second to none. So the precious metals community goes without saying, and we want to be able to provide on our website a space for precious metals traders and investors to actually get all the information they need and to be able to get quick access and really quick onboarding for them. And also Kinesis is highly appealing to the cryptocurrency trading community. So we have the exchange with all the robustness that's being built into the exchange with this new upgrades that we're doing. Then we really want to start, having people within the cryptocurrency trading community start to use Kinesis as their number one trading platform. We will be bringing on more pairs, and the trading experience on the exchange will be second to none. So we really want to create a space on the website so that we can actually, attract and easily onboard and provide all the information necessary for the crypto community. Because we see the crypto community is very, very pinnacle in our focus in 2021 as well. And last but not least, as you can see, with the white label application, the banking developments we're doing throughout the world, Kinesis will start to become this digital portfolio place where precious metals at its core and cryptocurrency as a digital portfolio management also rolling into banking. So we want Kinesis as this overall overarching platform that people can operate outside of the banking systems and spend gold, silver, cryptocurrency, and use Kinesis as your everyday banking solution for your fiat currency, your Visa cards, loyalty, rewards platform, everything you can imagine within the banking. So the Kinesis website will be actually geared towards these three target segments, and we'll be doing a rebuild to really put that message across. I'd like to thank you for your time on the 2021 roadmap. From here, I'd like to just hand over to our Chief Operations Officer, Richard Melbourne.
Thank you so much for that, Jai. And yes, I'm very happy to talk about infrastructure and partnerships at a banking level. As Tom and Jai rightly pointed out, 2020 was indeed a tremendous year for Kinesis. We achieved a lot in incredibly difficult times. And I'm personally very proud of the accomplishments we have seen to date, including the significant steps we've taken towards achieving a fully integrated banking system. So far, we have seen the Kinesis Debit Card Phase 1 released, which is, of course, the global virtual debit card. Allows the fully KYC'd users of the Kinesis monetary system to make international purchases using a Kinesis card worldwide. Really is a great real-world application for using the Kinesis currencies to buy goods and services anywhere in the world. Phase 2 is coming very soon, which of course includes a card with a much higher limit, additional payment on-ramps and off-ramps on the way as well. And we have undertaken some significant dev work with a banking and services provider, Qantas. So some very exciting things on the way there. Now, in addition to the goals that we have already seen on the banking front, we have been very busy forging partnerships with companies that share the same ethos that Kinesis has. Ultimately, these partnerships are very strong, very beneficial to the entire Kinesis community, and it will really complete the entire banking circle when everything is put together. Our aim with these partnerships and integrations is simple. Obviously, a fully integrated banking solution for all Kinesis users, but the thing to keep in mind is that it is a very complex piece to deliver. And because of these complexities, the hybrid banking system offering will be rolled out in various stages, and we will keep everyone posted as that all comes to light. Overall, though, through the various partnerships that we have undertaken, we plan on releasing some very powerful features that are very complementary to the Kinesis monetary system and the KMS platform. We aim to be providing all KYC users with bank accounts in multiple currencies that are linked to their KMS account. So what does this mean? It's essentially a total banking solution integrated with a powerful asset exchange, the KMS. This solution will allow you to have multi-currency accounts in your own personal name. It'll allow you to receive third-party deposits into this account. Think employer deposits. You'll be able to receive your wages or payments or whatever it may be from various third parties. You'll be able to make third-party withdrawals. So you'll be able to pay third-party individuals, will be able to pay bills and the likes. You'll also be able to fund your account with various card transactions and also instantly send funds to other Kinesis users on the platform. Eventually, you'll even be able to convert between various currencies at highly competitive rates. With the exciting partnerships we're forging in this space, we'll be delivering a powerful and complete hybrid banking solution that will add incredible value to all Kinesis users. I'd now like to hand over to Chief Strategy Officer Eric Main, who will cover the highly anticipated Indonesia project and an exciting initiative involving a new asset-based digital currency.
Thanks very much, Richard. Yeah, very good. So 2020 out the door, thank God. 2021 is going to be a great year, I have no doubt about it, for Kinesis in many ways. And what I'd like to talk a little bit about is where we've come and where we're going with Indonesia. And then I'll roll into the Emerald Project, KEM, and talk a little bit about some more forward-looking initiatives on the drawing board. So for Indonesia, look, 2020, very challenging year. The country was basically shut down for a good portion of the entire year. I got one of the last flights out in March before the country shut down completely. No planes going in, no planes going out for the next 6 months. Lockdowns all over the place within Indonesia. It's just been, the GDP has shrunk quite a bit. So very challenging from a commercial standpoint. But the good news is our team there that we have partnered with, they have 20 plus developers. They were able to continue on working, and actually a lot of significant work has been done and completed on the technology front underneath, laying the groundwork for the commercialization that can now happen in 2021. So for the applications that are underpinning all of this, the POSCO app, NU Gold, and there's a desktop version called Metal X. Those are all the technologies, all been built, they've all been integrated, and they've actually been able to enhance a lot of the offerings that app includes, including, so as you know, in past discussions, every POSCO app, every NU Gold account, they all come with their own CIMB bank account associated with each account. There's also the on-ramps and off-ramps from Postgiro that allows people to move funds in and out of the apps. But in addition to that, they've used this time, they've been able to integrate with the 4 largest banks in Indonesia, BNI, BCA, Permata, to their e-wallets from each of those banks have now been integrated into these apps, such that if you have accounts at any of these banks, which most Indonesians, you count those 4 largest banks, that pretty much covers all Indonesians, they'll be able to transfer funds from their existing accounts to these apps and the account that sits on these apps. So those are just additional on off ramps that will be available. In addition, one of the largest payment platforms, payment gateways in Indonesia, OVO, has been integrated. So again, it's just an additional on ramp and off ramp that's been made available. So on the commercialization front, look, this is 2021 is where we're starting. We've had a pilot program going, POSCO, that has been utilized. People, about 50 to 100 users actively utilizing the different elements within that. But now we're ready to ramp up a commercialization. There is a grand launch that is being put together by the new president of PT POS and the Minister for State-Owned Enterprises. That grand launch was set for this week. However, the Indonesian government have a very wide shutdown that is in place until the 25th of January. Whether it gets extended or not, we don't know. Look, it's a very, very touch and go situation there. There's lockdowns in many different cities, etc. But it's on the plate. It's ready to go. as soon as they're able to have an in-place social gathering, that will happen. Now, behind the scenes, of course, there's already elements of this rollout have been happened. So the president of PT-POS has directed his regional directors throughout Indonesia. I believe there's more than 20 regions that the post office has regional heads. They've already been directed to start the progress of going downstream to their districts and individual post office elements to get their employees started to add on to these accounts. So we'll start seeing that in this quarter of a ramp up of POSCO accounts. So NU Gold. So NU Gold will start ramping up its commercialization this quarter, I would say. And as you saw from Tom's written communication, NU Gold is now linked with NU Cash. And NU Cash and its existing NU app has over 40,000 existing accounts. And you'll see quite a bit of ramp up of the number of accounts on that because of NU Gold being added and the marketing that will go behind that through the NU organization. So that's something to look for in this quarter for sure. Another element within Indonesia that's coming on board for commercialization this year is the Umrah and Hajj travel agency. So this is the conglomeration of several travel agencies that facilitate the travel to Mecca for pilgrimages by Indonesians. And it costs quite a bit of money, and they have to save up over time to be able to do this. And there's been an agreement that the Umrah and Hajj travel agency conglomerates have adopted KAU as the currency by which people can do their savings. So that will be an element that's, as international travel recommences, this will become more prevalent, but people have to save quite a long time to build up enough funds to do this. So this is definitely a save and hold situation for these people that use these travel agencies, and these are in the millions of Indonesians that do this. There's 1 million before COVID, over 1 million Indonesians travel to Mecca every year, but it takes an average 5 to 7 years for them to save up enough to go. And so these are small increments that are put into these travel agents. They act as the savings elements, and KAU will be the currency for to be able to facilitate that. So that's very exciting, and that's happening now, and these are already integrated to these apps, the POSCO app, the NU Gold, etc. It's already integrated into that. Next, remittances. So as you know, remittances is a big element within Indonesian society. There's lots of funds that flow back to Indonesia from migrant workers overseas. As we've laid out in the past, Malaysia is the first gateway that we want to help facilitate that together with POSCO, and PT-POS has agreed to facilitate that with us. And so now it's a matter of getting the Malaysian side set. All of the technology and the ability to take in the funds through the POSCO app and the off ramps to whether it's to cash at a post office retail location or through the banking facilities or POSGiro, etc. That's all built and ready. So now it's about having the Malaysian side and getting the Indonesians signed up that are in Malaysia through an agency that we've set up that will create the flow that will allow to come to Indonesia. So that part is a little difficult, but this is what 2021 is all about. Now, 2020 is behind us. There's light at the end of the tunnel. We're going to be able to go into Malaysia at some point, hopefully soon, to be able to finalize these agreements with the agencies that are there that'll facilitate the Malaysian side of the equation. So that also will be coming up shortly. So in summary for Indonesia, look, all the building blocks have been done from a technology standpoint. All of the integrations with our partners within Indonesia have been done. And now it's about commercialization. And, we've started that slowly within 2020. There's been some, the pilot programs and the outreach to various, whether it's the PT POS employees through their regional heads or NU members through their hierarchy. Those things have started, but really the commercialization will be in 2021. Now that a lot of the pain from COVID, especially within Indonesia, is over or coming to a close, and the light at the end of the tunnel. This is when things will start to ramp up. So I would expect to start to see that, hopefully in this quarter. Okay, so that's it for Indonesia for the moment. So now moving on to KEM and the Emerald project together with Seabury. So as you've heard, Seabury is a multifaceted asset management and financial services company. They have many different divisions that do different things. But in one of their subsidiaries, they own quite a bit of cut and polished emeralds. And they're not just the portfolio that are being put together for this project. They own quite a bit more, which could mean that if this is successful, they may tokenize more. But I want to drill down a little bit about what the project is about and what it means for the Kinesis community. So this is a new asset class, obviously, that we're going to be putting onto the Kinesis exchange. And I should say a little bit about emeralds, right? So they're a pretty scarce, precious gem. And if you look at historically, because I've seen some discussion around prices of emeralds, et cetera, on our community. If you look historically, there's historical guides like Gem Guide. Emeralds, if you put them in a certain category, of course, each stone is quite a bit different. But there are categories, and if you compartmentalize a category, there are generally over time it's an appreciating asset. Very rarely does it fall off the cliff. These things the prices don't move daily. They don't move weekly. They are a very static price and stable asset. But generally over time they're appreciating. It's more like a step ladder as far as the pricing historically. So we expect that, of course, to be the case here. So I guess the bottom line for what the KM project is about tokenizing emeralds, putting in the Kinesis vault in Liechtenstein. Seabury, who is the owner of those, will tokenize those through an EPD minting them onto the Kinesis exchange and offering those to investors. And in addition to that, of course, the main element is that it'll pay a 3% fixed return. So if you have a combination of a generally appreciating asset, although in a step manner, the prices change maybe once or twice a month, but generally over time is an appreciating asset. If you take that in conjunction with a 3% guaranteed return, and then you add a holder's yield if you're holding it, it becomes a very attractive asset. Look, these are hard assets. It's allocated in the name of the holder with direct title. So it's no longer when it's traded on the Kinesis exchange, it's no longer on Seabury's balance sheet. It's on the buyer's balance sheet, and it's his asset. It's certainly not on Kinesis, just like our other assets. It's not on our balance sheet. So this becomes, I think, a very powerful thing. If you look at any savings account, any bank savings account, any money market account, a 3% fixed return with a generally appreciating asset is a pretty powerful avenue for people to invest in it. And this is what Seabury is looking for. So how do they offer the 3% guaranteed? It's quite simple. As I said from the beginning, they're quite a diversified financial group. They have investments and portfolios of different asset classes in the billions. So when an investor buys KEM and gives Seabury the cash for them, Seabury invests that cash into the various investment vehicles that they already operate. And out of that, they are willing to give a 3% guaranteed return. Okay, so that's how KEM will be designed and traded on the exchange. But let's talk a little bit about the underlying emeralds themselves. So the emeralds have been certified and valued by various experts and parties. So there's really three elements to this. So first of all, the emeralds are they're Brazilian in origin, and they are being transported from Brazil to Liechtenstein, and they are in a portfolio. So as I mentioned, Seabury owns more than the KEM that are being tokenized. Well, the initial tranche of tokenization for KEM is 22,000 carats. Now, there's a lot of variables within that portfolio. Each stone is quite unique and different. But what they've done is, in their total amount of emeralds, what they've done is taken these 22,000 and created a portfolio. And within this portfolio, each of the emeralds are all between 1 and 5 carats. So there's no large stones that have an outlier value to them, and there's no smaller stones. Everything is within 1 and 5 carats. And then within those 1 and 5 carats, obviously each stone is graded differently. And so they've had the Brazilian certification gemological society do a certification of each one of the stones. And then that was given to GIA, which is the Gemological Institute of America, which is kind of the international standard of grading and valuation of precious gems, including emeralds. And so they did their independent evaluation of each stone, as well as the Brazilian one. And the combination of those created this portfolio where you have these stones in different baskets in different percentages, so that you can say that 20%, and by the way, there's many different grades within precious gems, right? But all of these gems of between 1 and 5 carats fit within 3 categories: either good, very good, or excellent. And then each stone within that category has its own unique elements, whether it's cut, color, clarity, etc. So each stone is evaluated separately by the experts and certified, and those are by those 2 entities to begin with. And then there's a methodology of how do you evaluate that as a portfolio. Now that you have the stone sizes, you have them in the percentages of different categories of good, very good, and excellent, nothing below that. And you have each stone evaluated by these experts. You then have PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, who have approved and certified the methodology by which they evaluated this portfolio. So on a portfolio basis, you can, then through these 3 elements, you're able to say, this is what at this particular time, this is what this portfolio is worth, approximately 120 million. There's an exact amount. And all of these things will be put on we'll create a section within our Kinesis website that'll be about KEM. So all these certifications will be put there. The methodology of the evaluation will be put on there, so everybody can see it and be very transparent. The PwC approved certification of approval of the methodology will be lodged there. But even more so, then it's about what is the pricing, what is the pricing of this portfolio of this conglomeration of all these emeralds. So part of the methodology to get to the valuation that it has now is based on, first of all, categorizing each stone and then putting it into these various categories, etc. And that lines up with a publication that puts out prices periodically called Gem Guide. So if you were to take the percentages that each of these size stones fit within their various categories, and you apply that methodology to the Gem Guide prices that mirror those categories, you can see what the price would have been hypothetically for this portfolio going back in the past, which is important because then you'll get an understanding of what this portfolio would have been worth 2 years ago, last year, last 6 months, last 3 months, and you'll create a historical record of what this portfolio, the trend lines of what it looked like. And this is why you'll see what I talked about earlier about this generally being an appreciating step ladder type asset. And you'll see that historically by applying this methodology and this price line that we'll make available to everybody. And that will also give you an indication of where it will go in the future. So Seabury will be the market maker on the exchange of these, and they'll apply their own price, how aggressive they want to be. But obviously they can't get too far away from where the value of this portfolio is based on the certification, the valuation, and the methodology that's been applied. So that will give transparency to the whole project. So this is on a portfolio basis. Now there will be a redemption facility, but as you can imagine, the redemption facility is going to be quite a bit higher than it normally would be in our other asset classes, because can you imagine, we have to have somebody come in and look at individual stones to say, okay, this fits the redemption of how many KEM you want to redeem. And there's a cost to having an expert come in and look at the various stones and say, okay, we'll take this one, we'll take this one, we'll take this one. And when we add those up, that will approximate what the redemption value that you're looking to redeem, the number of KEM. So in order to make that economical and not be in the 10% of value kind of scenario for redeeming something, the redemptions are going to be a fairly large size. We'll be putting out, as we get closer, we'll be putting out what the details around not only the product design, which has already been laid out. It's 100 KEM equals 1 carat. But we'll also delve into what the redemption mechanics are going to be. I just wanted to give a little highlight. The redemption will be quite a bit larger than you would typically see, just because of the cost element. Okay, so moving on. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about initiatives, a little more forward-looking from a strategic standpoint. And I think you'll see some of these will be coming online sooner than others. But I just wanted to give a little highlight to a couple things. So I think it's clear, the Kinesis monetary system is a big animal and touches a lot of different avenues and investment vehicles and everything pervasive with anything that's a currency. But I think you'll see initiatives that look at things a little more vertically from our standpoint. So, for instance, on a vertical hierarchy, you might see us move into the mining and supply space, and into the gold dealers and traders along that supply line. And that'll be an important element for expansion, and it fits in with Tom's vision of hitting the precious metal space first, and going vertical along that supply chain is one of the elements we want to incorporate. So that's vertically. So then horizontally also, look, as Kinesis touches so many elements within the financial system because it's a currency. Horizontally, we want to look at different avenues as well. So one of the things is to try and have Kinesis KAU being used as the currency of use, right? We've talked about this before, but within the precious metal space, that could mean having a coin dealer or a retail shop offer their product, their gold and silver products, in terms of KAU and KAG, rather than in US dollars or in euro, etc. And some of those initiatives have already started. So I think you'll see a lot more information on that as well. So somebody coming into the retail shop looking for a Canadian maple leaf, instead of saying, okay, this is going to be $1,950, the price tag will be, I don't know, 33.5 KAU. And that will be the transaction that happens between the buyer and the seller. The buyer will come in to say, okay, I'll transfer 33.5 KAU to you, Mr. Coin Shop Dealer. Now, we have already some of those initiatives already in the works. And what's the incentive for the coin dealer or coin shop to, whether it's online or within the bricks and mortar shops, to do that? And the incentives are easy. It could be a inventory management play. So they've sold some coins in return for KAU. They don't need to restock those particular coins, and they hold on to the KAU. Well, they're going to get a holder's yield off of that. And when it's time for them to then restock, and they can then trade out of the KAU and into fiat and go to their suppliers and get more stock. So inventory management, but also just in general, there'll be refer type yields associated with it. So partner yield potentially, if they're large enough. So some of these things are already in the works, initial stages, and you'll be hearing more about that as we go forward. So with that, let me pass it back to Jai, and he'll take it from here.
Thanks, Eric. And yeah, really, really exciting stuff, and all great to hear. And as you can sort of see, the common thread that you're hearing here is much what we discussed at the beginning of the webinar, partnerships and commercialization. And that really brings me on to some components that, within my sector I've been working on, and we as a group have been focusing on. And, Eric sort of coined it before when he spoke about bricks and mortar. The bricks and mortar type operations and established businesses has been a real key focus of 2020, and obviously moving into 2021. And one of the key aspects we've been working, or one of the key partners we've been working with, which we're going to be excited to announce later, very much has, the outlets in the bricks and mortar space. So we're going to be working throughout Central and Western Europe with partners that already have existing user bases, that already have existing and established, centers or outlets for us to plug into. These are partners that have seen us as a hugely valuable value add, or not even a value add, as a product or an offering that they can't do without. So we've been working towards the white labeling and making our technology integratable within their systems, so that we can, take advantage of their existing infrastructure and their existing businesses, and service to a much higher degree their existing clientele. And one of the major ones that we're doing at the moment is in the banking space, providing banking white label solutions and card programs, and convertibility into and out of physical precious metals as a stable store of value for our European partners across Central and Western Europe. I have to keep it very broad because we can't divulge this a whole lot at this time. But I can say that MOUs have been signed, and partnership and heads of terms are being structured between the two parties at the moment, which we're going to be finalizing in the first sort of months of 2021, so that we can actually get going on building out those applications. And as you can see, we have actually already started prepping in our 2021 roadmap the building of these applications, and we've already started moving in actually developing out the prototypes of everything now. So it's all in the works and it's all happening. The other sort of space as well, Eric touched on, is in the precious metals or the coin space or the physical bullion space that exists. And again, I have to be broad here, but we've had much interest from many parties, but in particular throughout Central and Western Europe. Again, we've got some exciting stuff happening around the sort of lines that Eric was mentioning within the physical bullion space, actually, using KAU and digital gold, digital silver to service existing clientele that already hold physical coins and physical gold and silver. So, the Kinesis can actually provide an incredible segue for existing physical bullion holders into the digital space with all of the utility that is Kinesis, that is the banking, that is the yields, that is the Visa card programs, and so on. So these are some of the key sort of partnerships that are going on. We also have been dealing in a multitude of sectors. Eric mentioned before, vertically in the precious metal space is where our focus is. The FX and the trading space has also been another one. Kinesis providing a massive utility for people that are already trading, maybe contracts for difference within the FX space or the broker spaces, to be able to actually use and have a physical product and payments program that is attached to these trading accounts. And we have much in the works there with some very, very large partners that hopefully we'll be announcing publicly very, very shortly. We have been working on the technology for quite some time. We have been working through integration and at the point of where we're, on the pinnacle of the announcement. So, and I just want to also close off before, I know Richard touched on a lot of the banking stuff, and there is an outstanding question we have with our product and community around the merchant services integration stuff that we've been doing. And I wanted to just give a quick update that the onboarding through, the debit card facility and integrating that into the Mint and the KMS is very much underway. And we've run into some requests from the legal side, which are currently being tended to, but with the COVID-19 and legal officers, working from home and the Christmas breaks and holidays and the length of communication you can get from the banking partners of the banks and regulation and compliance officers asking for specifics that that legal have to answer. There is a bit of a little bit of a delay that happened there, but nonetheless, it is all moving forward, and we're very much on the pointy end of the stick of that at the moment as well. So I just wanted to sort of update you all there, because I know that was a question that was outstanding. So with that said, I think 2021 again looking very, very exciting, and I'd like to hand over to our CEO Tom Coughlin to bring it to a close.
Thanks for that, Jai. In summary, 2020 was really the year of foundation building. We brought in a lot of foundational and commercial partners. A lot of them will come to light over the course of 2021, but a lot of work's been done there on the integration side, a lot of incubation of these partners as well, keeping them there until we're ready for them ultimately. But no time is lost. There's a lot of mechanical work behind the scenes that we've been going through, as well as technical integration work, and also work on their side. Like some of our partners have vastly underestimated the amount of integration work involved, and where they may think it's like, a 2 or 3 month integration, they've been working at it for 6 months, for example. So there's been a lot of work on our partners' side as well to integrate into us. And these are not small partners, they're leaders in their field. These will come to light, and they're going to be large commercialization drivers for 2021. Now, one thing that Eric was touching on is the vertical integration side. So I think we've mentioned before in prior updates or webinars that, you know, our target market verticals that we're sequentially rolling out to exist in the precious metal space, and pretty much everyone across the supply chain we will be providing value to, from the initial supplier being the miner, and we've done a lot of work already in that space and actually made investment as well in that space. That will all come out, right? There's a lot of exciting developments there as well, from the initial supplier to the end investor or consumer of precious metals, or any other assets that we offer through our platform. There'll be significant value provided to them, and it will be a top shelf solution provided to them. To the crypto space, we're vertically integrating there as well. So, you know, from, you know, an exchange to we're at the moment, you know, deep in building out an insured custody solution, to many other very unique, bespoke, value-added solutions that will differentiate us from other solutions, platforms, exchanges, whatever it may be on the market. We're going to have a highly differentiated and innovative solution. Then into, you know, the payment and banking space, we'll have a full global aggregated solution whereby anyone in the world can easily sign up, be onboarded, and then have a global payment and banking solution to be able to receive their salary into, to be able to pay whomever at the individual level, at the corporate level. We'll have a full enterprise suite that will not only be highly efficient, it will be rewarding in a way that's going to incentivize everyone to participate. You know, where we are right now, as I said, we're at the foundational level. We're still building things out. We haven't even tried to commercialize yet. We've just got our community, which is you. We thank you for your patience and support. That's greatly appreciated. We'll never forget you guys, and we'll always, you know, make sure you guys are rewarded for your well-earned patience. But you know, moving forward, this community is going to grow massively and rapidly as we lay these foundations of future success. So going forward to the yield, once we build out and deliver the yield, then, you know, that's going to be ultimately the beast that will let into the wild, and the Kinesis system will grow itself, probably all by itself, and even at the retail level. But, you know, where our expertise lies is actually largely at the commercial partnership level. And we've got a long line of partners, as it's previously been said, lined up. We've already done a lot of integration work. You're going to see these come online at the right time, everything in sequence at the right time, and it's going to be contributing massively to our trade volume. You know, we've got partners at the national, like the nation state level. We've got partners that we're working with even at the central banking level, leaders in different respective fields, precious metals, foreign exchange, crypto. We'll be integrating into crypto exchanges now. We've reached the point where, you know, we're ready to start integrating into other crypto exchanges who will effectively be on-ramps and off-ramps for us, and contribute towards the volume of KAU and KAG, which, you know, I contend are already the largest gold and silver-backed currencies on the planet by volume, certainly. And you're going to see that dramatically expand. We will be, you know, the #1 in that field. That's for certain. You're going to see institutional transactions come in to play as well. There's been a number of deals that we've been negotiating for, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars to go through per month, you know, from one corporate party. We'll start our initiative in bringing in family office value. We've spent a lot of money in building out a brand new vault in Liechtenstein, for example. Also the same with Indonesia, that's still rolling as well, the vaulting facility there. But in Liechtenstein, we've got a brand new facility. We're actually we've been working. We tried to get all the signage up in the office done at the end of last year, but COVID restricted us there actually, and Liechtenstein went into quite a significant lockdown. But you know, that's proceeding ahead. That's actually going to be our HQ, and you know, you'll see, you know, a bit of a marketing campaign around that, showcasing our, you know, our new offices and vaulting facilities there, and that'll become a really great place for us to be meeting with these high net worth and ultra high net worth investors, showcasing our facility and bringing in that comfort and confidence that they require to be bringing in that metal. And you know, there's metal already sitting in our partners' vaults that will be brought into the system, and there'll be fresh, you know, metal from new clients coming in as well. There'll be more metal coming in from ABX investors and the like. You know, so this is the precious metals side. Is the, you know, it's the first phase. Then as we build out the, you know, the efficiency and robustness of our platform, bring online, you know, the crypto markets. Obviously they're hot at the moment. There's a lot of volume going through there. We will be a beneficiary of that. Trust me, we will. You're going to see a state-of-the-art, top shelf exchange system, which, you know, we're doing various different things at the market making level, at all different levels in the upgrades. You're going to see, like, you know, prices properly streaming in that, in the same way as what you might see also in the mint, for example. If you look at the prices in the mint, it's gonna look like that, but at the KMS level, and orders being shot in and out from our market making platform, which we've also conducted, you know, a lot of development work on throughout the last 12 months to bring that up to a very high standard. We've got other programs and facilities coming out, which I don't want to, you know, spoil right now, but they're big, and you're going to see big marketing programs around them as well. And they're all designed to infiltrate and bring in adoption from different target market segments. Like I said, precious metals, crypto, and then the banking and payment. The banking and payment area, I'm particularly very excited about, because it's going to be a global aggregated solution. We're going to be like an aggregator platform, then with an extra overlay of this highly incentivized yield system, which you're just not going to be able to ignore. Right there in front of your face, you're going to see, like, in real time, your yields ticking over. And that's going to be something that incentivizes everyone. And, you know, like, I'm a great proponent for individual performance and success, but also, you know, operating as in a collective team, which I think we do very well at Kinesis, by the way. And there's been a lot of work done during the year. But, you know, once this is front and center and on the platform, it's going to be an unstoppable beast that's just going to be led into the wild. And we're going to back that up with, you know, really, really strong commercialization and marketing programs to really push out at the retail level, at the partnership level, at the corporate and institutional level. We're hitting all levels, and then we're vertically integrating down through, you know, the different supply chains. And we're, you know, it might seem as though things are going a little bit slowly sometimes. It's because we're putting all the different pieces of the three-dimensional jigsaw puzzle all together, and there's a lot of back office stuff going on, but it's all going to come together and converge sort of quite rapidly. You're going to see quite a comprehensive, highly robust solution with a lot of trade volume going through it, bear in mind, by middle of 2021. And so I'm super excited by it all. One quick thing I want to mention, just because of, you know, there are a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that people don't see and don't understand, or you know, we need to be a little bit covert about, just to, you know, to maintain our competitive advantages, etc. But just to give you a bit of an idea, you know, and we've been building out ABX for the better part of 10 years now. And what we now have with the group is a global footprint with global offices, global companies, representative companies spread across the world. You know, like what we've seen this year is the building out of a team which is now almost 200 people. You know, this is information that you can't sort of jump online and find, but we're now a team that's standing strong with almost 200. You know, we've got a tech team that, you know, spans from Brisbane, Australia, to South Africa, to Sofia, to Latin America, to London, and so on. It's expansive. And then if you look at our representatives who are bringing in both foundational but also commercialization partners, you know, we've built out basically offices. We've built out the most recent's actually in Turkey. We haven't announced that, so there's some, you know, inside word for you. And we're building out, you know, a trading hub there in Istanbul. You know, we've got on a new representative there in Turkey. We've done the same in Dubai as well, where we've got actually a bit of a legal office there in Dubai. We have a legal team of 3 people who are furiously working away on all of our compliance and legislative regulatory matters across the world, making sure we're compliant in all jurisdictions in which we operate. In addition to that, obviously, we've built out a footprint in Latin America, but it's a process. First, you need to bring in what I call the foundational partners. These foundational partners are in the banking space. It might even be, you know, crypto exchanges or whatever, to allow us to open that market and then to infiltrate that market. And then we got to slot it into the development pipeline and have it all sort of coincide. Now, there might be a little bit of incubation conducted, and then, you know, it's all slotted together, and then it all needs to be aligned with the commercial strategy, and then it gets rolled out. Of course, we all want it to happen all at once, but, you know, there's a very clear and defined strategy around why we do all of this. Sometimes, you know, at the top level, it requires a little bit of patience while we see all of this come through. But I guarantee you, 2021 is going to be a year of excitement and exuberance as we bring all of this online. You're going to see higher and higher trade volume. I mean, it's already evidenced. The model's already evidenced, I think, by seeing the spikes in volume just based upon, you know, just some releases to our internal community. As we really push out to the external community, you're going to really start to see much higher volume, much higher market cap come online. And hopefully, you know, there can be the time where we can get on the plane again and start actually doing in-person meetings with, you know, it might be family offices, ultra high net worth, and also other corporate partners, whereby we can bring this all in. A lot of the family office and ultra high net worth, they require that in-person meeting to, you know, to part with their hundreds of millions of dollars in precious metals and to, you know, trust a system. So yeah, I mean, so what you're going to see this year, in particular, you know, the first half of this year, for Q1, it might seem as though the first couple of months might be moving a little bit slowly as we bring online our exchange enhancements and upgrades, but these are fundamental. And what they're going to do is actually just, they build out the foundations where we can build the skyscraper ultimately, and also then allow us to bring online these significant partnerships with, it's literally millions of users, with some of the leading organizations in their respective industries. It's going to be a year filled with hard work for us, but we're excited about it. And hopefully it's going to be an exuberant year for you as we bring online everything and then commercialize it. So with that, I'll wrap it up and I wish you a very happy new year, and you'll be hearing more from us. As I said in my statement and letter to the community, we'll be doing quarterly written updates, and as we release these partnerships, we'll also be doing little video interviews to provide perspective and insight on these as well. Who knows, maybe we'll even be able to bring some of the other corporate executives that we've partnered with online. We'll see. But thank you very much. Thank you for all your continued support, and be talking with you shortly. Thank you.